Using this tiny notebook for just a few minutes a day broke the cycle that years of dieting never could. It helped me curb cravings and stop overeating without relying on willpower. The reason it worked? Because cravings are not the enemy. They're actually an ally. The problem is there's a specific way to decode the signals. It's a skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. In this video, I'm going to save you years by showing you how I coach my clients to build that skill using this notebook. So you can level up faster, stop overeating, and lose weight easily and sustainably, not through restriction or willpower, but by being in tune with your body. But you're going to hate using this notebook if you use it like how my client Bertha used it at first.
So at the very beginning, I was totally treating it like a list of things I did wrong. So it was a form of punishment almost. It's not the spirit in which you guys definitely build the system for sure.
Think of the notebook like a tool, say a hammer. You could use a hammer to destroy a house or to build one. Writing in shame destroys your opportunity to break the cycle of cravings. So then how do you write in it? Our client Deb explains the approach we teach.
It was kind of a more scientific approach, more of a exploring your own body and how it works.
Scientific approach just means from a place of curiosity. You're not a judge in a court. You're a scientist observing a behavior. But if you keep slipping in the moment into being a judge, label that voice as your shame voice. Let it word vomit on the page, and then you'll find it easier to switch to scientist mode. But your scientist mode will fail you if the data you collect is imprecise, which is super common when people first start on step 1, noting down their thoughts and feelings at the moment the urge to eat strikes. Let's make this fun. I want you to put your scientist hat right now and tell me what's lacking in this entry one of my clients, Krista, made. I felt like I needed something. You can pause this video if you need more time. Okay, so if you're a scientist trying to plan for how to stop or redirect the same craving next time, you'd find yourself stuck. What is something? What specifically was the feeling? We asked exactly these questions to Krista, who then revised the entry to, I want to eat something before my 4 p.m. meeting. Now we know the trigger is the meeting. This goes into step 2 under external triggers. Now, do you realize why this is clearer? Krista is no longer paraphrasing. She's writing down her literal verbatim thought. This is the gold. But we still don't know why she wanted to eat. So we glanced at her feeling entry, which said, I was stressed. Do you see what's lacking in this entry? Stressed is not a feeling, it's a symptom. Like the symptom, stomachache could be caused by anything, from drinking spoiled milk to gallbladder stones. But the treatment for each is completely different. Similarly, we need to root cause what's the emotion behind the symptom of being stressed. Now, if you're someone who struggles to go deeper than reporting your state like, I feel nothing or I feel bad, you've just discovered your first bottleneck to managing your cravings. There's no separation between your emotion and reaction. How can there be when you don't even know what's happening to you? In our coaching, the best way we have found is to have our clients use the emotion wheel. Using the wheel, Krista revised her feeling to, I'm furious, tired, and want to scream at my team. Do you see how much more honest this is? Was Krista proud of wanting to scream? No. It made her feel childish and ungrateful to her team, not something she wanted to admit or accept. But this non-acceptance is precisely why I see people stay stuck in the vicious craving cycle. Your feelings are data. You wouldn't fly a plane with half the dash turned off. Similarly, you can't lose weight if you ignore what your feelings are telling you to change about yourself or your environment. So what are Krista's feelings telling her to change? There are 2 possible points of change. 1, reduce possibility of the trigger happening. For Krista, this would be an environmental change like tuning team dynamics and workflows. Or 2, learn to create a gap between the feeling and her reaction. Essentially, change herself. How you create this gap is by pausing to explicitly label the pattern that's occurring. And how you identify the pattern is by asking yourself, what has happened that makes me feel this way? For Krista, the answer was, I told my manager the deadline was too tight. I'm mad that he didn't listen. I'm also mad at myself because I feel I could have been firmer in my push. Can you guess what's the pattern here? If you guessed frustration, that's what Krista guessed too, but that wasn't exactly right. Do you see the deeper emotion underneath the frustration? It's feeling let down, both by her manager and her past self. Pinpointing the correct pattern is critical because the treatment for frustration can be different from feeling let down. Like going for a run to get frustration out works. But if you're feeling let down, a more effective treatment may be to write to yourself what you'd say to a friend who is feeling let down. But we don't want to call this a treatment. This is your speed bump to practice when this pattern happens again. Why? Because the point of this exercise isn't to stop yourself from eating your craved food. It's to practice creating a gap between feeling and reaction. So then what if you eat your craved food anyway? Great. Note that down as the action you took. And then under reward, answer this question. How did that serve me? There must be some benefit you're gaining by eating your craved food. And unpacking that will help you further refine your pattern. Krista's answer was, it made me feel less stressed. But this wasn't the full truth. It took many coaching back and forths until we got to the root. Giving into cravings sabotages my weight loss. Being overweight makes me feel less confident, which then justifies my not having pushed back hard on my manager. I desire, but also secretly fear being bold in life. And I won't have a good reason not to be bold if I'm thin. This was Christina's inner saboteur. A voice that was buried in the static until she used this notebook to tune into her cravings. Here's our client Samuel explaining what to expect when dealing with your inner saboteur.
I know that when I lose a certain amount of weight, some shadow part of me wants to gain it back, and that I have to learn to deal with the saboteur, which I'm getting better at. But it's not like the saboteur is ever going to go away. It's just a question of how good you get at dealing with it.
But then what if over time you have identified many patterns? Do you work on all of them? Absolutely not. Spot the pattern that happens the most right now and only work on that one pattern. As in, keep refining your pattern, speed bump, and reward until another pattern becomes the most frequent pattern. Did you catch that? The goal is not to get your cravings down to zero. Cravings are not a problem to solve, but a problem to manage. You're practicing managing them until your actions are more often toward your goal than away. Even at your goal size, you will have cravings. All 10 people do. The difference is just the ratio of actions toward or away from goal. This process is simple, but not easy. How do you shortcut yourself through all the trial and error? You can do it in 2 ways. One, if you want my help, then learn more about my weight loss program in the description and comments below. Or if you want to DIY it, then you don't want to ignore this video, where I dive deep into all the beliefs or lies that hold up most patterns. The faster you spot these lies, the faster you'll figure out your pattern and the right speed bump. So you don't want to miss the complete step-by-step breakdown here. And always remember, you can do it.